northeast, there is Bihu, there is also the birthday of Hazrat Ali, and then the most exciting part of the day has also been the big snan that is happening in Prayagraj. So this is clearly an auspicious day, clearly a day where so many things can be achieved. So we thought, why not begin the day with you on the Breakfast Club and bring you everything you need to know to kickstart your day. I'm Sonal, Mehrotra, Kapoor. Let's get started. Bigger, bolder, beyond tradition, India's middle class dream in 2025, evolving aspirations of India's middle class, how tech, modern lifestyle, global exposure is driving middle class opportunities. It's the Maha Kumbh, day 2, and a big day for the holy dip, where devotees are flocking to the Triveni Sangam for the Snan. Makar Sankranti also marking the transition into spiritual new beginnings. Also, just yesterday we saw the Sonmarg tunnel ensuring an all-weather connectivity, 27,000 crore boost to Kashmir tourism and economy. This new tunnel bypasses the landslide-prone areas, and how exactly will this push for winter tourism in the Himalayan ranges? We'll bring you a report to capture all of that. The Indian middle class dream, traditionally known for owning a home, securing a stable job, ensuring quality education for children. Now, this dream is undergoing a huge transformation. While these goals remain relevant to many, the priorities, challenges, opportunities to this segment are evolving rapidly. Why is it that you ask? Well, global exposure, technological advancements, shifting generational values, globalization and digital access have all expanded the horizons of India's middle class, especially amongst millennials and Gen Z. Now, according to a report by the Boston Consulting Group, 72% of middle class Indians say that their aspirations are shaped by global media, with platforms like Instagram, Netflix playing a huge role in understanding what success looks like. The modern Indian model, the middle class individual now dreams of international travel, flexible careers, self-actualization as well. Entrepreneurs have tapped into this shift by offering what is now called affordable luxury, a category that bridges aspirations and accessibility. In 2023 alone, India's affordable luxury market grew by 14%, with brands like Zara and H&M reporting over 20% year-on-year growth in small cities, according to the Economic Times. Now, this trend reflects that the middle class's desire to access premium products and experiences while staying within reasonable budgets is surely here. Technology has also played a major role in reshaping middle class dreams. 87% of middle class households now transact digitally. And according to NASSCOM, with apps like Paytm, PhonePe becoming household staples, let's face it, how often are any of us really carrying cash or even our wallets these days? Let's talk about education then, the other big, huge aspect of the Indian middle class. Now, according to the Indian EdTech report of 2023, middle class families are spending an average of 75,000 annually on online courses alone. This accessibility has also fueled consumerism. A report by Reserve Bank of India highlights that credit card spendings reached 1.5 trillion in 2023, with BNPL, remember that, we spoke about it earlier on the program, buy now, pay later schemes growing at an annual rate of 50%. Let's talk about the younger generation then, and what they call successful. According to LinkedIn Workforce Insights, 64% of millennials and Gen Z professionals in India prefer flexible work arrangements over traditional 9-to-5 jobs. No prizes for guessing that. Prioritizing autonomy, work-life balance. Similarly, 58% of this demographic no longer sees home ownership as a priority compared to about 81% of the baby boomers. Health and wellness as well, in particular, has become an integral part of the middle class aspiration. And according to Statista, spending on wellness and products and services increased by 19% in 2023, with urban households prioritizing mental health, fitness and self-care. All of this means one thing, that the rise of Tier 2, Tier 3 cities as hubs of aspiration is another notable trend. According to Startup India, 45% of new startups registered in 2023 originated from smaller towns, driven by middle-class entrepreneurs seeking financial independence. This entrepreneurial energy reflects the growing ambition and confidence of non-metropolitan India, which is now playing an increasingly vital role in the country's economic narrative. The Indian middle class dream is no longer one-size-fits-all story. It is dynamic, it is multifaceted, the narrative shaped by global exposure, generational shifts, and the opportunities brought by technology and innovation. So the question, is the definition of the Indian middle class changing? Who is the Indian middle class? Is that expanding or shrinking? And if you fall into the category, what are the trends ahead for you? To decode all of this, we've got two very fascinating guests with us on the program this morning. Dr. Gladston Xavier, he is the social researcher and Dean of Arts at the Loyola College in Chennai. He's with us this morning. Good morning. And also with us is Varun Modgill. He's MD and CTO of Cognavi India. Dr. Xavier, if I can... Hi. Dr. Xavier, if I can start with you. We've just tried to piece together different aspects in which the formulation of the Indian middle class mindset really happens. If you had to, in your own words, define the Indian middle class today, how would that go?
Thank you and good morning and happy Pongal from this part of the world.
Yes.
And the Indian middle class definitely has been a transformative group. So there is no static definition of the Indian middle class per se, because this is such a dynamic group. See, when you see, especially in the last 30 years, the change took place in different parts of India with the software industry. I will say the opening up of the economy, 1990 was a game changer. Now from 1990 up to 2000, there was a trend. And at that point, the 1999 recession brought about a major change in how we perceive the economy. And then post-2000, what we see today has also becoming very, very changing. Now, if you look at from 2015 up to now, 2025, the last decade, essentially has shifted the middle class completely from the traditional value systems, traditional way of thinking, traditional way of ownership, value systems. These are all changing constantly. So it's very difficult to define something that's so fluid. Now, the middle class, the way I would define it is the most adaptive group to a sociological trend, to any trend, the most adaptive. It fits in, it's like water. It just kind of fills in the space and then becomes a class by itself. And therefore, what is also happening is there are people who are coming from the poor and marginalized sections to the lower middle class, people from the lower and middle class moving up to the exact middle class itself, and then people who are at the, you could call them as the creamy middle class, moving a little up to the rich and then the super rich. The rich itself today is defined into like so many different kinds of categories. Now, in the field, from the field, as a social worker, when I'm encountering people, and the literature does support that, what is going on today is people love to define themselves, define their jobs, define their roles, define their homes, define. So they like to be the owners of what they do. That's why today, if you see, especially if you look at the Gen Z workers, nobody wants to employ them. It's difficult to employ them post-COVID because their mindsets are so different. Now they constitute the actual middle class today. And now the urban-rural divide, that's slightly more It's very, very interesting to see the urban middle
Dr.
class.
Xavier, hold that thought. You've said a lot of things that are so fascinating, and I just want to pick on, all of them one by one. So what you're essentially saying is that the definition of the middle class itself has expanded. More people have got into that segment, but while we all know that moving in from middle to rich is where the real struggle is, that's where it really begins. That is where we are seeing, which is very, very fascinating. Let me bring in also our second guest here, Varun Modgill, on this. Varun, your definition of the Indian middle class, and if you have some numbers perhaps for us?
Thank you, Dr. Gladston. It's quite interesting, his definition. And I do agree with the part which he mentioned that, they're the most adaptive to change. They have to be the most adaptive. And in terms of the definition, they are the most fluid in terms of the changes that are happening. They adapt, and they need to, like the discussion that we are having now, that they have started, you mentioned globalizations or access to payment systems or financial access. I don't have a definition that is different from what he has mentioned.
Sure.
But I agree with him on this regard.
Yeah. But, Dr. Xavier, can I counter what you said by a quote that recently came in? And this is by Nestle, which is one of the largest FMCG companies, MNCs in the world. Here in India has a very large footprint as well. And there, the MD there went out to make a statement saying that the FMCG, how they used to operate, has changed because there seems to be, in his own words, a shrinking of the middle class. The ones who are offering fresh to reasonable value in the middle segment are finding their fortunes temporarily impacted as well. Now, if Nestle goes on to say that there is a huge market for premium products, but not so much for the middle class products, is that revision of the definition or is that expansion?
Well, this is aspirational. You see, if you look at how companies are branding stuff, it could be a car company. Take the car company, for example, car segment. Now, about 15 years ago, you would buy a small car, 4 people, like a Santro or a small Maruti or an Alto and things like this. Now, why do we see SUVs, so many SUVs on the road? If you go to the homes of these people, many of them don't have a place to park. There's no place to park. It gives you. These are aspirational. Now, middle class is also very aspirational due to several different kinds of layers of aspiration. The first layer of aspiration is a peer aspiration. The P2P aspiration, peer-to-peer aspiration is very high. Now, when you look at it in terms of jobs, in terms of economy, in terms of saving, in terms of share market. Now, most of these middle class people, now they're not buying homes. They're investing in the market. They see that instead of paying EMIs for the next 25, 30 years, it's much better that I invest and then grow. Now, this thinking is new. This thinking is only 10 years old. It's not more than that. And if you buy a home, you'll be spending on rent. They calculate the rent, they calculate the cost-benefit analysis, and they find that it's completely different. But, however, sociologically, when you look at, has this brought a change in the caste mindset? Has this brought a change in the communal mindset? Has this brought a change in secularism? No, that's not happening. This is more economic rather than social. The changing is more. That's very, very, very interesting to see. Yeah. And also, are people being more critically conscious? Well, if you compare the middle class in India and Finland, you will see there's a clear difference in how the middle class looks at it in India in terms of aspirational, premium products and others. But the middle class in Finland will remain simple but aspiring in terms of education, jobs and things like that. I'm comparing Finland because it's one of the most evolved economies, and on the happiness index, they're very high. They're one of the highest in the happiness index. So that's important to see how middle class operates in different countries. In India, just one point over here. In India, when you dissect the middle class and see, going back to the Nestle survey, these market research companies which I've done research for so many companies, and I can see where they target. The target is that you go to the exact middle class and they are the cusp of change. When you go to the cusp of change, what you do is, what is the watch you're wearing? What is the food you're eating? Where do you eat? How much you spend on food? All these things are what are counted in. And then when you come into the products, people are also going the different way. If you're going to the higher middle class, they are not even wanting to consume these premier products. They want to go organic. They want to go natural. They want to go all these things. That's more premium for them. What is important to understand is, I'm also a farmer. As a farmer, for me, I need to know if I'm doing something organic, the prices should be low. Because I'm not using paid fertilizers. I'm using my own organic vermicompost.
Got it. I like I want to pick on what you said about this aspiration being one of the mindset and largely economic in nature and not clearly coming up in the form of social evolution as well, if one can call it that. Varun, your thoughts on this, on the definition being largely sort of, what should we say? Should we say it's a middle class syndrome then?
In my case, the way that I look at it is, let's say, based on what a person from Nestle said, that the middle class is shrinking, and what Dr. Gladston said, I think the demand for premium product increase is largely also fed by digital transformations of things such as, let's say, ease of ability to pay. For example, earlier these are aspirational products that was mentioned earlier, that young people would probably like to purchase higher priced products, and these were not earlier accessible to people, but now with ease of financial sort of accessibility, digital payments, credits, buy now, pay later systems that you said, it becomes a lot easier for them to save. The problem with this, though, is that without proper financial literacy, people tend to overspend, or this may, as a result in increased debt. Aspirations are great, but it does have a fragile balance, I think, that it starts to disturb. So earlier, Dr. Gladston mentioned about the car ownership. And it is true. Earlier, people would be okay with smaller cars, and now you'd see a lot more SUVs that are slightly more expensive. These are largely a result of global media showcasing SUVs are great, but also because it's easier to actually finance these cars now. Anyone can. AI or technological advancement has made...
So you're saying availability of resources is what is leading to this, which is also fascinating. But Dr. Xavier, if I can come back to you and play a bit of a devil's advocate over here. This is the same middle class we're talking about that complains and complains about taxes being too high. The same middle class, which is part of the 2% and perhaps the only one paying taxes in the country. The only middle class which talks about carrying the burden of the country on their shoulders, being salary earners. So how am I supposed to see both these narratives at one go?
That's an amazing question. You really foxed me in, actually. This is a very interesting question because I've been wanting to take this analysis. Now, just look at the GST. Now, the GST is something which is very important for us all. If you make a cursory analysis of the GST and who pays the highest amount of GST, it's the middle class. Because the consumer, the products that they use, if you look at the 5% up to the 28%, it is the 18% GST that is hitting. And that's where the consumerism is so high. And that's exactly where they want to pay the GST. So now we are not only looking at the taxing, the direct taxes, the indirect tax also comes from this huge part. That's where the middle class is it's the engine of the economy in terms of taxes. Middle class is the engine of the economy. Now, when you look at it, what does the middle class consume? Middle class consumes everything that is produced. There's no real specificity. It's only this I should consume. It's not like that. Whatever is available, whatever is affordable. If I can't affordable a Nike pair of shoes, Okay, I will afford something slightly lower. If that I cannot do that, I can go slightly lower. If I can, I can go higher. Now there's a whole range. The market has opened up. Now that's where the GST has really been successful. Hitting the middle class, levying the taxes there and taking. Now, if you look, then you see in the last few years, last 10 years more, maybe a little more, the tax bracket has not grown at all. Very marginal growth in the tax bracket. That's why in this budget, people are advocating that you extend the bracket up to 10 lakhs. Now, the creamy layer, if you're in the creamy layer and if you want advantages, the cap is at 8 lakhs. But at the same time, if you are wanting more from the other part, the cap is only at 3 lakhs for tax paying.
But Dr. Xavier, what I'm trying to get at here is that despite being so-called the creamy middle class, one is always middle class in their head. I'm trying to understand how does is that just a syndrome? Like I said, is it just in the head, or should we be accepting a very new class and a category altogether?
Now, what will happen is this is undergoing change. Two things that are changing it. One is the post-COVID generation that we are talking about. The alpha is going to change this. The beta is going to throw this out of the window. It's going to completely change.
Through what?
It depends where you are from. From what is it right now? Now, what is going to happen is, now, I'm just going to be the prophet of the doom right here and say, how this is going to change, how it's going to alter it is because there are many self-correcting mechanisms in society. One is the environment. The environment is going to put a major check on the consumerism that we are going. That's the first self-correcting mechanism. If we don't do this, automatically the environment is going to check you. Next is, when the middle class keeps expanding, there is lack of equity. Not all middle class people have the same opportunity. Not all the people can aspire for that. That is going to cause a lot of conflict in communities. Countries like the US are now facing it because you see the social conflicts that are taking place in the US. You take the social conflicts that are taking place in Sudan. Two opposites, completely opposites. Now, highly developed, evolved economy, the US, is facing a huge bout of racism, a huge bout of economic struggles. Homelessness in New York, one of the highest in the world.
Yeah, even London. Yeah.
Yes. You can take, just for want of comparison, take for example Sudan. The conflict has been raging over there over similar issues. But the identity concept is there. So what is going to happen is, if we don't self-correct, if this is not regulated, if it is not becoming more conscious, the consumer needs to become more conscious. And this consciousness is what is going to turn things around for us. Okay. That's why I'm saying, when this younger generation comes up, when this beta generation, the next 20 years, 15 years, they change, the things will change completely in the next 2 years.
Yeah. Okay, I think Varun has a point very quickly. Varun, I have to wrap after that.
Yeah. You know, when we're talking about all these changes right now, a lot of it is to do with, thank you, Sonal, for giving me this time. We have to remember that we're talking about a lot of youngsters, all the points that we discussed, whether it is about providing them, all the points that we mentioned are essentially the Gen Z that we are currently talking about, and Professor mentioned about alpha and beta. I think the way forward right now, a lot of the changes that are happening and the evolution that's happening is great. I think it's our turn to sort of start assisting them. You know, we support a lot of students as my profession, and basically I think it's a time where they are going through a lot of change. It's important for us to pass on this sort of knowledge of maybe providing them financial literacy, or you know, you mentioned about EdTech coming across. We need to mention that they have access to these you know, platforms. We represent a lot of STEM students.
Yeah, but I think, Varun, are you trying to say that the younger generation today is not limited in their head with the thought and the limitations of a middle class? They don't think of themselves like that.
I think so too. You know, these aspirations are not a bad thing, is what we need to teach them. So they can take India to the next level. They're basically taking on the baton from us to take it forward. So we should be looking to support them.
All right, Varun Modgill there and Dr. Gladston Xavier, thank you both for joining us on this very fascinating discussion. Does that mean that we need to redefine classes in the country within the middle class? So many categories. The gap is also widening, so is the definition. Are younger generation going to write a sort of class of their own? Well, all of these things wait to be heard. If you have comments on this, please do write into us with those as well. On that note, we are going to slip into a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, we take you to Kashmir, where Sonmarg Tunnel has ensured an all-weather connectivity, and they have got some gorgeous visuals coming in there. See you on the other side.
आज सारे मोहल्ले
No, I need. Wait.
Welcome back. It's time to take you through the snow-peaked mountains of the Himalayan ranges and Kashmir Valley, and cutting through the majestic Himalayan terrain, a new engineering marvel is set to change the way we travel in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a project that promises year-round access, boosts local economies and opens up fresh opportunities for tourism. But it's not just about connectivity. This is about the future of travel in the region. This is News18's Ishan Vani with a full report on how the Zedmore Tunnel is finally panning out.
Imagine the journey to Sonmarg, once a long winding road through a challenging hilly terrain, is now significantly shortened by the Sonmarg Tunnel. This engineering marvel, part of the government's broader initiative to improve connectivity in the Himalayan region, is set to transform travel in the area.
Because of the high snow around this venue, it used to remain cut off, and that's why a lot of hassle for people who'd commuted through this road. And because it is strategically very important, if you look at the area around this venue, you will notice that there's a lot of snow that has fallen. And because of the snow accumulation, the vehicles won't fly. Even the defense purposes, it will be impossible to go to Ladakh because we have an adversary there, and then you have to send in supplies, and that only can take place during the winter time through the aircraft. But now this tunnel has been completed, and with the completion of Zojila tunnel in some years from now, it will be a defense boost, a massive boost to defense.
The 6.5 kilometer long tunnel, part of the Srinagar-Leh National Highway, is going to be a game changer, giving us all weather access to Sonmarg, one of the region's most popular tourist spots. Paving the way for the mega Vikas push in the valley, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Sonmarg tunnel and was accompanied by Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Manoj Sinha and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah.
ये जो नई सड़कें बन रही हैं, ये जो रेल कश्मीर तक आने लगी है, अस्पताल बन रहे हैं, कॉलेज बन रहे हैं, यही तो नया जम्मू कश्मीर है.
This is Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the valley after the assembly elections held last year. He also met with construction workers who toiled in harsh conditions to complete the project. Meanwhile, Omar Abdullah remembered the 7 people who were killed in the terror attack in Sonmarg in October last year and also praised Prime Minister Modi for fast-tracking the project.
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म साहब, आपकी कोशिशों के नतीजे जो सरहदों पे अमन का सिलसिला चल रहा है, उसका भी बहुत फायदा उन दूर दराज इलाकों में आज देखने को मिल रहा है. इन्होंने अपनी जान की कुर्बानी इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए दी, जम्मू कश्मीर के तरक्की के लिए दी, इस मुल्क के लिए दी.
Located at an altitude of more than 8,650 feet above sea level, the 10.8 meter main tunnel features a 7.5 meter wide emergency escape passage and bypasses the landslide prone and avalanche affected areas. Equipped with advanced technology, the Sonmarg tunnel paves the way for the Zojila tunnel. With a whopping 2,700 crore investment, this tunnel is set to revolutionize access to Ladakh, ensuring year-round connectivity between Gagangir and Sonmarg and boosting tourism.
Generally, because it connects to Ladakh, it's a pass to Ladakh, to Zojila. This remained cut off for several months, and now since it's going to be opened, it's going to be an important boost, and there are several other projects which are key to J&K's development and economic change. We are also told that this will help in boosting and bringing Kashmir's economy and help Kashmir to grow economically when the tourists go there towards Sonmarg, and then because of the Ladakh will remain connected in all weathers, because this also past witnesses several avalanches, and now there will be no avalanches. It will also prove important for the forces as well as the people who want to commute through this road.
All right, with that, we're going to take you to stories coming in from India and across the globe. Let's start with what's happening in Siachen, where a run-up to the Army Day on the 15th of January, Reliance Jio, in collaboration with the Indian Army, has achieved a groundbreaking milestone by extending its 4G, 5G network to the world's highest battlefield, that is the Siachen Glacier. With support from the Army signalers, Reliance Jio becomes the first telecom operator to deliver seamless connectivity in the harsh and formidable region. This video has taken internet by absolute storm. This is Vishwanathan Anand, D. Gukesh, R. Praganathan and several others who are all chess champions, trading their chessboards to dancing floors at the Pongal party. Dressed in their traditional best, their grandmasters showed their moves. Videos of their joyful gig are going viral now. I'm going to take a pause and let you enjoy it for a while. Country singer Carrie Underwood will be performing at the inauguration ceremony of President Donald Trump on January 20th. Her publicist has confirmed. The publicist also provided Reuters with a written quote from Underwood saying, "I love our country and I'm honored to have been asked to sing at the inauguration and to be a small part of this historic event. I'm humbled to answer the call at a time when we must all come together in the spirit of unity and looking to the future." On January 13th, the first full moon of the year lit up the night sky. January's full moon is commonly called the wolf moon because wolves are active this time of the year and can be heard howling on cold winter nights. All right, with that, it's time for another break. But like we said, it's 14th of January. So much is happening today. You could be flying the kites, you could be enjoying a happy Pongal meal, or you could be taking a dip at the Maha Kumbh, which is what we will take you to on the other side of this very quick break.
सर ने जो टर्म लाइफ
No, I need. Wait.
Day 2 of the Maha Kumbh Mela 2025 in Prayagraj, which is marking the auspicious Makar Sankranti as well, and it is the day of the Shahi Snan, one of the most significant rituals of the event. Now, pilgrims and saints are gathering at the Triveni Sangam at the sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati to take the holy dip. Now, Makar Sankranti is believed to mark the transition of the sun into Capricorn, symbolizing the end of the winter and start of longer days. Now, today's Shahi Snan is expected to draw millions of devotees, including the akharas, the sadhus, and even international visitors. We'll speak to some of them on the program. Authorities have been deployed to enhance security measures with AI-enabled cameras, drones, and real-time crowd monitoring to ensure safety. The focus is seamlessly on pilgrim movement and cultural experiences and a heightened spiritual atmosphere that seems to be unfolding in Prayagraj. For any queries, pilgrims can now contact a dedicated toll-free number as well. And in case you're looking for it, it is 1363. Our colleagues are in Prayagraj and bring you these reports.
While we are in Prayagraj here in 2025 for Maha Kumbh, we have with us a few people who've come from Israel to witness this grand Maha Kumbh, and we would want to share with you their thoughts, what they think about India, about Prayagraj, and about this Maha Kumbh in 2025. Let's quickly cut across to them. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Sarah.
So you're from Israel?
Yes, I'm
right.
from Tel
So,
Aviv.
Tel Aviv. Oh, so tell us about the experience. How long you've been in India, and what do you make of this huge gathering here?
I've been to India many times. Especially came to this event because I read about it so much, and it's so outstanding experience. I think India is the most amazing country in the world, and I've been traveling for many years. I've been working for the Israeli airline, so I've been traveling a lot, and out of all the places, India is the best.
India is the best. So you're also from Israel?
Yes,
I could see that you were doing some photography and all. So what's your name first, and what's your purpose to visit? Are you here to cover this event, or you want to witness this? Why you are in India?
We are here with a group, an Israeli group, touring India from Varanasi to Delhi, making a few stops, and this was the highlight of the tour, the Kumbh Mela, and what's happening here is the main reason why we came. And this is something that is beyond the senses. It's not something that you can grasp.
Have you ever seen such congregation, religious congregation, ever?
I've been to India before, years ago, but never, only in India you can find something like that. This is very unique, and I think that there is nothing else in the world that comes even close to what we can see and feel here. The colors, the people, the culture, the atmosphere, everything.
Today is another special day of Makar Sankranti, and therefore everyone wants to take a dip in Sangam today because of this auspicious day. And as we speak, we are seeing that different akhadas are going towards Sangam, and all these people who are present here they are deterring the bone-chilling cold here. They are here on the ground. You can see every part is completely covered by a sea of people. It has been very difficult in fact, to stand properly at this place. Such is the enthusiasm, and you can see these akhadas. Panchayati akhada is the first one who's going to take a dip today. Then, of course, there are various other akhadas who are slotted different times to be in that confluence of three rivers. At this point, as we are speaking, you can see with the chant of Jai Shri Ram and Bhole Shankar, these akhadas are actually going towards the Sangam. These are the early morning visuals that we are bringing to you on CNN News 18 from Prayagraj itself. So this is a very special day, as everyone is talking about this, that 144 years after such scenario, such planetary alignment that occurred, which makes it very special. And this is a Maha Kumbh, which is coming after 12 years. We all are aware with the historical importance of this Maha Kumbh. Look at the enthusiasm, the gathering, the sea of people that have come here early in the morning. As we've been speaking to people, they've been walking for 15 to 20 kilometers to reach here to take that holy dip. And people have come from across the globe to witness this grand Maha Kumbh here in Prayagraj. And of course, people who are walking for 15 to 20 kilometers, that is because of the security restrictions that UP administration has put in place. The UP government is trying to make this a digital Maha Kumbh, and that is the reason why you'll see the introduction of artificial intelligence in various security parameters here. There are 7 to 8 security layers, and also drone, anti-drone system, everything is present here. So this is technology wise a very superlative Maha Kumbh which is being observed here in Prayagraj. With camera person Rajesh Bhardwaj, Arun Dhanta for CNN News 18. This is Prayagraj and Maha Kumbh of 2025. As per government's estimation, 45 crore people are expected to attend this Maha Kumbh. And when you have a gathering of crores of people, it is important there is some arrangement by the administration for those people who maybe due to any reason lose their family members. Then what they will do? You will have a huge congregations there. Therefore, as we were heading towards the Sangam this morning, we found one such center, lost and found. This center is made for those people who have lost their family members in this crowd here. They can come here, and then of course the other procedure will follow as to how they can find those people who have lost their loved ones. You can see all these counters here, and also we'll try to find out that what is the procedure which they have used here to actually identify. आप आइए इधर. क्या नाम है आपका?
सर हमारा नाम
पीएल यादव. यादव जी, हम संगम की तरफ अभी जा रहे थे तो हमने देखा लॉस्ट एंड फाउंड सेंटर है. ये तो होना भी चाहिए ऐसी जगहों पे. सबसे पहले ये बताइए कि यहाँ पे लोग आते कैसे, अगर खो गए हैं, और कितने सेंटर हैं टोटल? वैसे
सर टोटल सेंटर है 20-22 सेंटर है.
20-22 सेंटर है. तो अगर कोई खो गया है, कोई किसी का परिवार वाला, तो वो यहाँ पे आके कैसे संपर्क करता है? कोई नंबर है या किस तरह से क्या होता है?
सर जैसे किसी का व्यक्ति खो गया, वो रजिस्ट्रेशन कराना पड़ता है उसको, या आप हमारे व्यक्ति खो गए हैं, उसका नाम मोबाइल नंबर लिखा जाएगा, जो आएगा लिखवाने उसका फोटो वगैरह कुछ क्लिप देगा हमको, उसका डिटेल्स यहाँ से रजिस्ट्रेशन कराएंगे. जब वो हमारे पास आएगा तो उसको हम जानकारी देंगे आपके पर्सन वो आ गए हैं.
कोई टेक्नोलॉजी का अलग से इस्तेमाल हुआ है इस बार? लॉस्ट एंड फाउंड सेंटर हम देखते हैं हर जगह, लेकिन कुछ अलग टेक्नोलॉजी
का वो एआई का सिस्टम किया गया है. उसमें क्या है कि जैसे कोई भाषा नहीं है, कोई तेलुगु बोल रहा है, मराठी बोल रहा है, हाँ, तो उसका लैंग्वेज कन्वर्ट करके हम लोग हिंदी में उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन करके उसको.
Okay, so this is the use of the artificial intelligence, that you will have people coming from different parts of the country across the world, and they have some language issues. Sometimes these people may not be able to communicate with them, or vice versa. At that point, AI will become a very handy tool. It's the largest religious and cultural congregation of the world. It is Maha Kumbh 2025. This period has come after 144 years, when you have the planetary alignment in such a way which is highly auspicious, and therefore right now we are present in Prayagraj, and these are the visuals, the scenes that you're witnessing of very early morning of today's very auspicious and a special day. It's Makar Sankranti, Snan today, for which these people are going to the Sangam Ghat, the confluence of 3 rivers. You can see the visuals of early morning here in Prayagraj. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and still these people are heading towards the Sangam just to take that holy dip. This is the joy and the feeling, emotions which they have at this point. We'll try to speak to few people who are part of this huge congregation as to where they have come from and why they are coming so early. आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, आप कहाँ से आई हैं?
इंदौर से आए हैं।
इंदौर से आए हैं, और इतने सुबह सुबह हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि लाखों की संख्या में लोग जा रहे हैं, तो ऐसा क्यों, इतने सुबह सुबह क्यों?
हम अभी ट्रेन से उतरे हैं रात में 2:30 बजे, और अभी हम संगम पर स्नान के लिए जा रहे हैं। बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था है रास्ते में भी, और यहाँ स्टेशन से यहाँ तक आने के साधन भी है, थोड़ा पैदल चलना पड़ रहा है।
आपका ये पहली बार आप महाकुंभ में आई है या पहले भी आपका आना?
पहली बार है।
कैसा लग रहा है?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत।
तो इंदौर से आएंगे। अच्छा, आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
सर हम गुजरात से आए हैं।
गुजरात से आए हैं?
हम अयोध्या जी के हैं, लेकिन महाकुंभ का स्नान करने गुजरात से आए हैं।
अच्छा, तो इतने सुबह सुबह हम देख रहे हैं, मतलब लाखों की संख्या में लोग जा रहे हैं, और कल 1.5 करोड़ लोगों ने जो है वो स्नान किया है। तो आज कोई खास वजह कि आज ही आप लोगों ने प्लान किया, या कल भी आ सकते थे या आगे भी?
जी, आज मकर संक्रांति है, इसके शुभ अवसर पे हम लोगों ने सोचा कि सुबह सुबह स्नान करें, इसलिए हम लोग आज आए हैं सर।
और कब, कितना पैदल चले हैं, कितना चलना है अभी?
हम लोग 15 किलोमीटर पैदल चल चुके हैं सर।
15 किलोमीटर?
जी जी। जहाँ से साधन नहीं आ रहा है, पुलिस लोगों ने रोका है, वहाँ से हम लोग पैदल आ रहे हैं।
ठीक है। अच्छा, आप बताइए, आप कहाँ से? आप?
सर हम भी दादरा नगर हवेली से हैं।
अरे वाह, दादरा नगर हवेली से?
जी जी जी, रहने वाले अयोध्या के हैं, लेकिन हमारा मेन उद्देश्य कुंभ नहाना था।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
और ये तो आज का दिन बहुत खास है, क्योंकि 4 ही स्नान जो हैं, चाहे कल का, आज का, फिर 29 का और 3 फरवरी का, तो कितना महत्व, और कैसे देखते हैं इतने लोग यहाँ पे जुड़ रहे हैं?
बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है। यहाँ की जो व्यवस्थाएं हैं, पुलिस विभाग भी सभी यात्रियों की मदद कर रही है, योगी जी ने जो व्यवस्था करके रखा है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
See lakhs of people moving towards the Sangam, the Triveni Sangam, the place where the 3 rivers are meeting with each other. That's the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. As far as people are concerned, some of them have been walking for like 15 kilometers, some of them for 10 kilometers, and some of them have been traveling for last 24 to 48 hours to reach here in Prayagraj and to witness this Makar Sankranti's sacred dip, sacred snan.
All right, next we bring you a special segment of the financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with markets. Well, GIFT Nifty trends indicate a positive start for the Indian equity indices. US indices ended marginally up, while the dollar weakened a bit on reports that Trump administration is mulling gradual tariff hikes. Now, Asian equity indices were mixed today as news on tariff hikes kept investors cautious. Crude oil and prices trade firm ahead of the outcome of the OPEC meeting later this week. Let's look at the sector in focus this morning. Q3 is the quarter marked by holiday and furloughs of IT service players. However, the FY25 has turned out to be a surprise in terms of margins, if not revenue. Bookings are soaring with improving demand. Calendar 2025 looks to be an interesting year for the sector. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's IT services sector and various other actionable insights on the markets. It is a premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need. Brought to you by Money Control. All right, and as we draw this episode to a close, let's bring you visuals coming in from across the country. It is Makar Sankranti after all. It is the day we all go out to our terraces and fly kites. And also, this is a festival that marks the start of a new harvesting cycle, also the end of winter. Makar Sankranti in the north, it's Pongal, another harvesting festival in the south. There are others with different names in different parts of the country. But today, definitely, 14th of January, one that we can dip in on a bit of nostalgia and go back and take it slow and fly your kites high. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow again, 8 a.m. Bye-bye.
Powered by
No, I need. Wait.